Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and every Tuesday night at 8:30, we all get together here in the War Room for a cocktail, and this is show 102. We started way back on March 14th. We did 81 nights in a row trying to get through this pandemic, and now Cocktails in the War Room has turned into a weekly show, and this is where we get together to talk about what's happened in the last week, brace ourselves for the week to come, keep ourselves up to date on everything that's going on in music, vent, get hugs, make dick jokes, whatever it is that we got to do. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining me. What's up, Mickey? Marvin says, what's up from Worcester? Hey, Donna, saying hello to the family. Wednesday was just in here. I don't know where she went. Wednesday, come here. I brought in all of her favorite toys, including the Stingray. Maybe this will get her in here. She was just here a second ago. Did I lose weight? I look great. Thank you, Marino. I don't know if I did or not. I'm trying not to catch the COVID-15 like everybody's been talking about, that everybody's gaining weight. So I've been trying to get outside as much as I can, although the weather is making that more and more difficult all the time. This is also the Halloween episode. So we got Halloween coming up this weekend. I don't know if they're going to do trick-or-treating where you guys are, but I wore my special Halloween shirt for you guys as well. So thus the Halloween decorations that we'll talk about after. I tried putting like a bunch of stuff up here, like all over here and over here to like decorate the place. And then Wednesday started just dragging stuff around and whatever. So I just opted for like the one little skeleton lantern back there. The ducking stingray. Exactly, Eric. So thank you guys for joining me each and every Tuesday. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Some really cool music news we got to talk about. I got some more details on the online store and the website tonight. And also, I want to talk about the podcast, obviously, and there's some cool news about that as well. And mail call, some really cool stuff came in the mail. So first of all, how are you guys doing? How are you guys holding up another week? I know that things are getting super stressful politically and with the election coming next week. I am going to do my very best next Tuesday to be the place that you can go to get away from all of the election craziness that is going to happen next Tuesday and all of the speculating with the news and all of that stuff. So I am going to do my best next Tuesday to take your mind off of whatever it is that's going on, regardless of who it is that you support and the outcome of the election that you're hoping for. Next Tuesday, I really want this to be a very lighthearted place, a very lighthearted show, and just to give us a place to kind of decompress and have a couple of drinks and chill and quiet the noise a little bit. So that's what we're planning for next week. This week, of course, we got to get ready for Halloween. I know some communities are trick-or-treating, some aren't. I don't know what they're doing where you guys are. Pam says 10-hour day doing inventory today. I am exhausted. Well, Pam, I made sure that I drank Fernandez's sangria because it looks like a mug of blood out of the skull mug because it's the Halloween show tonight. So cheers to you. Michael says, looking forward to being done with this election craziness. I hate to tell you, I think the election's only going to be the start. I think that regardless of who they predict is the winner on Tuesday night or even Wednesday, there's going to be, I think, court cases and recounts. And then depending on who is certified as the winner, there's going to be scrutiny over the election process. And then if the president loses, he's still qualified to run for another term. So he's probably going to do that. And if he wins re-election, there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Congress could swing the other way, and then we could have both houses of Congress that don't get along with the president. It could just be a craziness, but I would not get your hopes set on the fact that after the election, things are going to calm down, because I don't think they're going to. Come here, Wednesday. Come on, come over here and say hi to everybody. I turned your camera on. There she is. Say hi to everybody. Do you want your stingray? Say hi. So this is just my little subtle reminder that you can follow Wednesday on her Instagram account at Wednesday the Goth Pug. And of course, there are the people that have the Mistress Carrie backstage pass that also get all the extra photos of Wednesday that I put up on Patreon as well. I can't wait till November 17th. That is my birthday, and your show is on that day. Well, there you go, Sean. So make sure that we have a special birthday celebration for you. I have a 6-foot PVC pipe tied to the rail of my porch candy chute. I saw some people that built those candy chutes on TikTok and stuff. I think that's a freaking genius idea. It's like those crazy Hot Wheels slides that they set up that, you know, you can send the kids candy like Indiana Jones style. I think that's awesome. How come the lights on the lantern went out? Did you guys notice that? They were glowing red and then, oh, there they go. I think the lantern shuts itself off after a while. So I am really curious how it is that you guys are planning on getting around all of the COVID restrictions when it comes to Halloween. Did you use the coffin in your Halloween decorations this year? I have not put them outside because all of the coffins and caskets that I have, they will get destroyed in the weather. So, this is one of those times where it kind of makes me laugh when it comes to Halloween because there are skulls and coffins and caskets around my house all year round. So it just looks like I'm decorated for Halloween, but the only thing that changes is like the tablecloth on my dining room table. Otherwise, my house pretty much looks like Halloween 12 months a year. Candy in the plastic gloves. That's really smart. I'll be working, plowing, says Mike. So not only is Mother Nature screwing with us, but it's just one more reason why 2020 is just becoming so difficult. It's like we finally get a Halloween on a Saturday, and now we're getting snow this Friday. Depending on where you are, where you're watching Cocktails in the War Room from. If you're watching Cocktails in the War Room from someplace warm where you're not going to get snow this weekend, let us know in the comments so that we can feel bad about ourselves because you're going to be sitting on a beach someplace warm. Although there's also hurricanes coming off of the Gulf as well. So it's like pretty much everybody's weather is totally screwed right now. I have an inflatable dinosaur costume and I will use it to get candy for the kids while they wait at the end of the street. Well, there you go. So we got to get creative, but I just have so many fond memories of Halloween growing up. And it's really one of those things that I feel so bad for kids. They look forward to getting dressed up. I mean, kids start talking about their Halloween costumes like in the middle of the summer or before. And so I hate to see them lose their Halloween. And so there's got to be a creative way, Halloween parades or like something where the kids can still get to dress up and do all of that stuff. David says, I had snow yesterday. Snow equals shit no one wants. Yeah, exactly. I'm in Florida. No storms here, says Christine. F 2020 and all this BF we have been facing this horrible year, says Eric. I totally understand. Monica, the 2020 dumpster fire continues. Just need a cardboard box to go into the oven. I don't know if I understand what you're talking about, Michael. This week, New Hampshire. Next week, St. Croix. Oh, I'm so jealous. Absolutely. Let's see. Tropical storm plus cold front equals our first snowfall. Freaking 2020. Please keep it, Vito, Donna says. I am giving out candy in Winchington. Well, that's very cool. I'm going to use a slingshot and shoot the kids who take more than 5 candies from the bowl. Halloween at the Franco 12th Street night of my life. Yeah, it's like I looked forward to Halloween so much. And like we used to be able to go out trick-or-treating without our parents. And it was like, we'll just get home by like 9 o'clock. And we were always trying to sneak in those extra few houses before we were supposed to go home. I started decorating for Christmas. Oh, I start decorating for Christmas Day after Halloween, says Jen. I ran a couple errands today and the mall parking lot that I drove through had the crews out there putting up the Christmas lights. I had all I could do to not scream and yell at those poor bastards who are forced in the middle of October to start hanging Christmas lights. Like I wanted to swear at them so bad. And I was like, they're just doing their jobs. Don't yell at them. Channel your anger where it needs to be channeled because that's not constructive. And a full moon on Halloween. Exactly, Christine. And it's a rare blue moon, says Renee. Yeah, it's like, it's just crazy. So we just got to try and get through what's happening over the next couple of weeks the best we can, and just enjoy Halloween the best you can. And it's my favorite day of the year. And it just makes me so sad because a lot of the things that I normally do on Halloween, I can't do. So, Michael says Home Depot in Worcester is already filled with Christmas stuff. Oh, yeah. And we turn the clocks back this weekend. No, I think it's next weekend, isn't it? I thought it was after the election. I think it's the first weekend in November we change the clocks. I could be wrong. Can you guys fact check me on that one? I used to put the lights out on my parents' house in October and then turn them on Thanksgiving. Easier to do it when it's warm. I totally agree, Keith. I get it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm almost positive the clocks are next weekend. Is it really the 1st? Oh my God. November 1st. Fucking A. Thank you guys for double checking me because I totally would have forgot to do that. Although my iPhone would have done it for me, but I'll drink to that too. What are you guys having for cocktails tonight? Anything good? I'm going almost full Fernandez tonight in the skull mug because it's Halloween. This guy's eyeballs keep shutting off. Okay. So let's talk about some stuff, shall we? I don't know where Wednesday went, but I think the first thing we should do is a podcast recap. So episode number 20 last week was a little bit different for the podcast. Normally, I've been keeping you guys in touch with artists that you already know and love. This week, in this podcast episode, it was trying to expose you to a new artist that you may not have heard of yet, and to introduce you to his personal side if you had already heard his music, which there are some places playing his music, but not really any around here. And I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you spent any time with the playlist that I have attached to episode 20 in the podcast episode, but sorry, face police. I just touched my nose because it was itchy. But I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about Ayron Jones. I thought he was just super fun and open. He was the first person that I've interviewed so far on the podcast that I didn't already know. So getting to know someone through the computer, because we could see each other while we were doing the interview. And that was kind of my introduction to him, even though he knows a lot of people that I know. So he had heard about me and I had heard about him. But it was very strange not having any kind of prior experience with the person that I was talking to for the podcast. And Donna says, I listened to Ayron on the ride home, found some songs on YouTube. I like his sound. Donna, there's the playlist that's linked in the description of the podcast, and a bunch of his music is in there as well. You can totally hear all of the influences that we talked about in the podcast episode. I mean, you can definitely hear the bluesy stuff, and you can definitely hear the groove of like a Rage Against the Machine and the hip hop influence. But the grungy sound of his guitar is also in there, and that Seattle influence. And yes, I went old school style with unknown musicians. That's what we used to do at AAF. And it's something that I want the podcast to do as well, is that when Ayron Jones is getting his first Grammy, or when he's selling out the Boston Garden, I want you guys to be like, I heard of him years ago with Mistress Carrie. That's the goal of really trying to expose you guys to new music, as well as AAF used to be able to do that and was really good at finding new bands that we think you guys would like, and introducing you to them. Paula says his musical history is really interesting. The fact that he's completely self-taught, that he never took a guitar lesson, and that he is such a prolific blues guitar player. I just found his story to be incredibly interesting. And because I talk about it all the time in the podcast, I don't have that musical ability. I am fascinated at learning the way that a musician's brain is wired, where they are able to look at an inanimate object like a guitar or a piano or a violin or a set of drums and to be able to make it do something that most other people can't. Travis says, I thought your pacing of the questions was really good. You didn't rush and you let him tell his story and you let him get to know you. It's one of those things that when you have prior experience with somebody, you can riff with them. And so when you're interviewing somebody for the first time, and you're not in person, it's something that you have to be a little bit delicate of, and you kind of have to allow the things to unfold and learn the person's sense of humor and learn how they answer questions. Some people, you could ask them a question and they give you a 4-word answer, not because they're trying to be difficult, but just because that's how they answer questions. And so those people, it's like, all right, well, if I'm interviewing somebody and I know they're only going to give me 6-word answers, then I want to be as specific in my question as I can so that I get the specific answer that I'm looking for. And then there are other people like Tommy Vext, for example, where you just look at him and he gives you a 15-minute answer. So it really depends on the personality of the person. What I loved about him was that he's just so open. And he was very comfortable and he is so secure in his own skin. And he was just like, yeah, he didn't tell me, I don't want to talk about anything. I thought that our part of the interview where we were comparing the relationship we have with both of our spouses was really funny because we both are married to people outside of the music business that don't really understand how the music business works. And so it's like, you know how it is. It doesn't matter what your job is. You could have an amazing day at work. And unless your spouse really understands what it is that you do and the inner workings of that industry, you have to explain why it's good news or why it's really bad news, because the person you're married to, unless they've been married to you for a really long time and they've kind of absorbed your industry because you've been talking about it so much, I find it really interesting. And I love the way that he talked about his wife, where she was just like, oh, is that good or is that bad? Oh my God, you're opening up for Guns N' Roses. Like, I thought that part of the story was really funny. Does anyone have any songs on Apple Music? Does Ayron have songs on Apple Music? Oh, he totally does. Absolutely. He has a bunch of stuff up there already. And then the record is coming out in the new year. He left a comment on one of my Instagram posts actually talking about, just promoting the podcast episode. And he gave me a really sweet compliment and said that it was like the best chat that he's had all year. And he really enjoyed the interview. And he promised that he would come back on the podcast when the record comes out. So we're also going to try and get him in the war room as well. So Jeff says, great interview. I was laughing. Let's see. There are eyes on your chest. Yes, there are. It's looking at you. These eyes, not these eyes. These eyes. Look at these eyes, not these eyes. Yeah, she had no clue, says Jeff. Exactly. Ron, thank you very much. Glad you liked it. Yeah, he definitely has some music. He's released some EPs in the past. I don't know about you guys, but that whole story about how he got discovered by Sir Mix-a-Lot, the I Like Big Butts and I Cannot Lie guy, I couldn't believe that. And I had no idea, and we talked about it in the podcast episode, that Sir Mix-a-Lot is such a kind of fixture in Seattle and in the music scene. And so just the idea that my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun guy is roaming the clubs, going up to a blues guy like Ayron Jones going, hey, I want to produce your first EP. Like, I just thought it was crazy. And I loved how Ayron talked about how he uses Sir Mix-a-Lot as a guide, as a mentor, as someone that steers his career, that he gets advice from. Because there was a time where Sir Mix-a-Lot was like the most famous rapper on the planet. And so that kind of overwhelming spotlight, I'm sure, was incredibly hard to get used to. And the amount of money that Sir Mix-a-Lot was probably making for that period of time, I bet he learned a lot of things about managing your money and managing your musical career. And so I love that artists like that are helping future generations of musicians kind of not make the same mistakes that they did. Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. Just watched that Friends episode. Saw him in concert. That's crazy. You saw Sir Mix-a-Lot in concert, Laura? That's amazing. I looked at both sets of eyes. Not my fault. The yellow ones are better. I didn't even realize that when I put the shirt on and like was setting up the camera angles and stuff that like I didn't realize my boobs were going to be staring at you guys. I apologize. I love that about Sir Mix-a-Lot. Ron says, I started singing your Patreon post. I've got big balls and I cannot lie. Exactly, Brianna. Um, let's see. You can hear his influences from Tom Morello to Jimi Hendrix. Lou, I couldn't agree with you more. It really is like that stew, that gumbo, where it's like, I'm going to sprinkle a little Hendrix in here, and then I'm going to throw a little Tom Morello in there, and then I'm going to put the blues greats. I loved his story about playing with B.B. King. I think he said in the podcast it was the second to last show B.B. King ever played live, and just talking about what it was like to kind of talk to B.B. King and kind of be around him, even in that advanced age that BB was still so humble and not unaware, but just so grounded and down to earth. I mean, BB King is a god in music. And the fact that he still had these young musicians opening up for him and was using his platform to help the next generation. He's like Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC, says Thomas. Exactly. And I thought that whole story about Daryl, because he's a friend of both of ours. And it was really interesting for me in that Ayron and I couldn't be more opposite in so many ways. I mean, first of all, he's a guy. Second of all, he's African American. Third of all, he literally grew up as far away from me as you can get in the continental United States. He has this amazing born with musical ability that I could not be further from in my life. Yet we had all of these similarities and we had these commonalities in how we look at things and the way we selected our spouses and a lot of mutual friends. And I loved that we both kind of had a BB King story. And I love that we both, are honored to call Daryl McDaniels a close friend. And it also kind of shows Daryl McDaniels too. And just, he's that guy that if you know him, you're friends with him. And if you're friends with him, you can't help but love him. And that his range and scope of friends is so broad and vast that Donna says, I liked your story with BB with the lighting. It bums me out so bad that my roadie career, as short as it was, I mean, it was like 4 years, 3.5 years, but I worked with some of the most amazing musicians, celebrities. President Clinton, I built, staging for twice. And it was in that time where the forefront of technology was having a beeper. So I don't have a lot of pictures from that era of my professional life and all of these amazing people that I came across. Like I could have had a picture with BB King or George Clinton or Tito Puente or just all of these amazing people, President Bill Clinton. But I just didn't have a camera phone back then. I met BB's daughter, Claudette. We talked about her father and she could sing. Yeah, well, it doesn't surprise me that BB's musical ability is passed down genetically because those are some pretty amazing musical genes that he's got. Saw an old Ozfest poster and Ayron's name was on the set list. Yeah, I mean, he's been around a long time. It's just he was around as a local musician in Seattle, and I loved his insight into what it was like growing up in Seattle after the grunge era and how hard that spotlight on grunge in Seattle has made it for future generations of musicians because the infrastructure of the music industry didn't stay put in Seattle because grunge was there for many years. And then as new metal and all of these other artists started popping up from different places, it just made it more difficult for musicians to get noticed in Seattle. But I loved how he talked about what an amazing music scene it is and how you can really develop your career and your sound and your abilities there. But then you have to go somewhere else to get discovered. And So I thought that whole part of the interview was also really interesting, and his perspective on it um, really insightful. And the fact that there are so many famous musicians like Sir Mix-a-Lot, like the Pearl Jam guys, like Duff McKagan, that have remained in Seattle, and they are mentoring some of these artists as well. And having just talked to Kevin Martin from Candlebox, who is from that region the week before, who rode that grunge wave. I thought the combination of episode 19 with Kevin Martin from Candlebox and episode 20 with Ayron Jones was the differing perspectives. I thought was really cool. So, do you still have that relic known as a beeper? I don't still have my beeper, but I have a couple of my really old cell phones. And at first, it was one of those things where it was just because I was a pack rat and didn't get rid of them. And now I kind of want to hold onto them because they're going to make for really funny Halloween costume props in like another 10 years, I think. Um, a beeper, what's that? Oh my God. And then Jen says, you're joking, right? Yeah, never had one. All the bands that were signed back in the day in Seattle. Yeah. And there's so many of those musicians that are still around. And he cites a lot of them, not only as being influences, but also as just helping navigate his career, which I thought was great. Carrie, that beeper you're talking about was called an alphanumeric pager. Carrie says, I used to have my messages texted to my beeper by a live operator. It was called an alphanumeric. You would call an operator, tell them the message, they would type it out, and it would show up on the screen of the person's beeper. It's basically text messaging before cell phones, and it was only one way. And then the other person had to call the operator and give the message to text it back. It just crazy. Let's see. Paula says, I still have my original bag phone. Hilarious. Geez, I thought I was a name dropper. Teehee. I'm so envious. Really? So anyway, so I love the fact that, you guys are giving this new artist a chance. And I really wanted to be able to galvanize us as an audience and as a group of people and as a region, if not here in New England, but as the War Room and as the podcast spreads nationally and internationally, when we find these artists that are just cool and interesting and different, and we wrap our arms around them, it really helps these artists. Just because an artist has a social media following, just because Twitter is there and Instagram, it's still hard to kind of break through the noise and to get noticed. And so we really have the ability to get together. And Tammy says, sorry, I'm late. No problem, Tammy. Don't worry about it. But we have the ability to really move mountains for Ayron. So I just encourage you guys, if you haven't listened to the podcast episode yet, please do so. I think you're going to fall in love with him the way that I did. He's just really down to earth, super approachable, incredibly talented. But then I want you guys to check out his music and share it with people. Hey, Jay, can you guys all do me a favor? My friend Jay, I have been friends with him for over 20 years. And Jay is recovering from surgery and is kind of laid up right now and has been kicking cancer's ass for years now. And Jay is an amazing human being and someone that I love so much. He started an orphanage and in Africa called Coco, the Children of Kilimanjaro Orphanage. And he's kind of laid up right now, and he's obviously joining us here in the War Room with his phone or the computer or whatever. So if you guys could send some love to Jay, that would be amazing. And if you want to check out an amazing organization and see someone that is literally moving mountains for kids, go on Facebook and check out Coco, the Children of Kilimanjaro Orphanage. And if you are so inclined to help Jay and make a donation, that would be amazing. Jay is not only an Army veteran, but a Marine Corps veteran as well. And he is someone I have just been blessed to know for so many years now. And I just like sending him love whenever I can. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. I can't help him with, any of the stuff that he's going through. But if we can take all of our positive energy here in the war room and send it to someone that I love, that would make my day. And then check out the kids at Coco. They are just amazing and beautiful and sweet. And they bought this old hotel. And they turned it into an orphanage, and these kids are going to school, and they're eating great meals, and they're safe and taken care of. And it's because of Jay and all of the people that are in Jay's world, and obviously all of the people that are in Africa making it happen while he's back here. And I know he just wants to get better so he can go and visit the kids. And of course, 2020 hasn't made that easy either. So you guys sending him all of that love really means the world to me. So but when we're talking about what we can all do as a community for these artists as well, please share this music. Put Ayron's videos up on your Facebook wall, tweet about him, share Instagram posts with your friends. If you have friends that are into music, love discovering new artists. We all have those friends that have always been on the cutting edge of music and always kind of know what's going on, have their finger on the pulse. Share Ayron's music and spread the awareness, because the more people that listen to his music on Apple or Spotify, and the more the word gets out, especially in a time like this, the better it's going to be when he can finally get back out on the road again. And I can't wait to go and see him perform live, because everybody I've talked to that has just says he is such an enigmatic frontman and that the shows are just awesome. So take this, this community that we have, and really understand that because we are such a close-knit community of music lovers that used to be held together by WAF, and now we're keeping ourselves together in a new way, we still have the ability to help these artists and to really get behind them and to keep that reputation of Boston being a place where new artists can find a home and can break from, like this region has broken so many artists before. We can still do that together. And I know that that's what I'm hoping for. And I know, obviously, that that's what Ayron's hoping for. And everybody at John Varvatos and Big Machine, who is his record company, they saw so much potential in him. And they know that there really aren't any places in the Northeast where they can take a new artist's music and get it heard and played. So let's do this together. And so let's kind of get behind Ayron and see what we can do with his music. And Diva says hate less and love more. I really think that right now, and this is something we talked about in the interview in episode 20, now is the time, not only for music, but really for rock and roll to really help us navigate these choppy waters in everything that we're going through right now. And rock, like he said, is always, when the country needs music, rock is always kind of there. What happened during the Vietnam era, where the music became the voice of the people. And it's happened that way so many times through the civil rights movement. And I really think that rock music has a way of blurring out some of these hard lines that have been drawn in the sand amongst Americans right now and around the world too. It's like music is something that does unite us, and we have to embrace that, because we could all use that a little bit more. Joe wants to know when the pajama party is. I don't know, Joe. I'm waiting for Danielle to get back to me on a Tuesday night that she's available. The children of Kilimanjaro Orphanage, Brianna. It's COKO. Children of Kilimanjaro Orphanage. If you guys are wondering, it's Coco. And the kids are just so adorable, and their lives are forever changed because they are being allowed to grow up in a safe, healthy place that encourages them to learn and grow. And so Jay's organization is the Children of Kilimanjaro Orphanage. It is a great icebreaker for conversations. Rock music, that is. Exactly, Amanda. Like, it's one of those things where you meet somebody new, and if you can get past the pleasantries of what's your name and where are you from and what do you do, if you start talking about music, it's amazing how you find common ground. Because even if you don't like the same kinds of music, um, you like music that was inspired by the same artists. And I thought it was really fascinating because Ayron has such a hip hop influence as well, that when he was talking about all of the hip hop artists and the rock artists that they are inspired by and look up to, when he started talking about Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and even Marilyn Manson, these are the same things that Daryl McDaniels has talked about as well. So, I'm glad that you guys love the episode. I'm super proud of it. I'm glad that you guys are receptive to doing episodes about new artists because there's more coming. Not this week, though. I want to announce who is coming on the podcast tomorrow. So, episode 21 of the Mistress Carrie podcast comes out tomorrow. It actually launches at midnight. And this is a special one for everybody in the war room. You'll remember months back that when we were really isolated and locked in the house a lot more than we are now, we designed and produced the Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts. And we sold the t-shirts and we helped out local businesses. And we also helped to feed veterans that were in need of food assistance. And so this week, I wanted to sit down with the executive director and founder of the Massachusetts Military Support Foundation, Don Cox. And Don actually came to MCHQ. That's a picture. We were trying to be socially distant. That's why we were kind of standing so awkwardly because we took our masks off for the picture. But that's Don in the war room. And he joined me in the war room and then joined me in MCHQ with a couple of other people, including Donna, who handles all of their marketing, and also one of the veterans that started out seeking assistance from the Mass Military Support Foundation. And now he's actually donating his time back to the organization. I wanted you guys to hear what they did with the money. I wanted you guys to hear how the organization started. I wanted you guys to hear this amazing logistical marvel that is this organization and how they are putting your donations through your War Room t-shirts to use, and to hear how it's really helping veterans. I also wanted you to hear, and you'll hear it in this week's episode of the podcast, Don, who's a Marine Corps veteran, which I didn't know when we first started talking, which I was kind of shocked that I didn't know that about him, and I was embarrassed that I didn't know that about him. He has some really insightful views on what is helping to cause some of this need for food assistance among our veterans community, and how he's trying to fix that. And some of the other programs that Mass Military Support Foundation and USA for Vets, which is how he is broadening his organization to be able to help people nationwide. There's a lot of other programs as the holidays get closer. Not only food assistance, but coats for homeless veterans, helping Santa visit all of the kids that want Santa to visit around the holidays this year, and to allow kids to have an amazing holiday season, even if maybe their families aren't able to give them everything that they want. So Donna, she says, that's awesome. I wanted to hear all about them. You're going to hear a lot. It's a really inspirational story. Just hearing about Don's military service, and then how he transitioned into the private sector, into civilian life after he left the Marine Corps, and then how he put all of that experience to use and all of that education and expertise that he has in the food industry to be able to help feed veterans. And, he's going to talk a lot about Robert Kraft, and you will be amazed at some of the things that the Kraft family does that nobody even hears about. And it's also a plea for volunteerism, and it's also a plea for more financial donations and to help him get the word out about the organization and all the programs that they have. So we wear them proudly, Karen. I love that. I try to wear my shirt when I'm out, but I'm not out very much. I hear you, Donna. Get compliments at the grocery stores and record stores. Hell yeah. So I really wanted to do this follow-up episode, and I wanted to do it a couple of weeks before Veterans Day, so that if you guys were motivated and you wanted to do something around Veterans Day and you wanted to go and make a difference and volunteer or make a donation or something, and to know that it's actually helping people, I wanted this episode to come out now to give you guys the chance to spread the word and get involved before Veterans Day. Um, let's see. I used to wear my t-shirt to PT. They loved the saying on the back. I love it. Gonna wear my shirt tomorrow. I love that, Jeff. It's nice to see where the money goes. Sometimes you donate and you wonder if it made a difference or if it went in someone's pocket. Eric, I actually had that very discussion in this week's podcast episode with Don. And I asked him about transparency of financial donations and how it is that he makes sure that his organization, I know they're on the up and up, but how do you make sure that everyone knows that? And he was very transparent about, how they publish their financials, where the money gets spent. I thought it was really interesting what his biggest expenditures are, what things they can get donated and what things they have to buy. So there's a difference between, the things that they can accept as donations and then what they actually need cash donations for, because they need both to keep this mission rolling forward. Let's see. People smile, says Betty. I love it. I wear my shirt when I'm rocking the stripper pole, says Eric. That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Michael. There's the Charity Navigator as well, which does, kind of show you what the profit margins are on things and how much money organizations are paying their staff. And I always try to give charitable organizations a little bit of leeway. I understand, when you have an organization that has a lot of moving parts and you need someone with logistical expertise, marketing expertise, and, to expect them to not get paid to do that insinuates that you're going to find someone that is independently wealthy. And so I don't look poorly on organizations that have to pay these employees because someone has to do the work. And normally people, it's been my experience, although there are many charitable, wealthy people, it's always been my experience that some of the most charitable and generous people are the ones that don't really have a lot to give, but they give a higher proportion of what they have than people that actually have a lot. And so, when you've got all of these people that, are generous with their time, they're still expenditures. There's still, things cost money. And there's so much need that it's really hard for businesses to donate things to all of the organizations that they want to. And so I always try to give organizations, you know what, Brianna? That is a fucking brilliant idea. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. We actually talk about doing that kind of stuff in this episode of the podcast. What's happening is because so many companies are working remotely, companies are using food box packing days to get their employees together at a socially distant thing, but to build morale for their companies and to get all their employees to actually go to the facility and pack food boxes. And Brianna just commented that maybe we could get a war room volunteer day where a bunch of the people from the war room family could meet for the first time by packing boxes. And the facility is so huge. Don talks about it in the episode. It's 150,000 square feet. This warehouse space that the Crafts have donated for all of the food box packing. And so there are ways for people to pack boxes and to stay more than 6 feet away from each other. But I feel like that's a great idea. It's such a bonding thing that people could do. And that people can finally meet each other from the war room and doing it in a way that gives back. I think that's a brilliant idea. So guys, please listen to this episode of the podcast. It goes live at midnight. All of their social media pages and their websites and everything will all be listed in the description of the podcast. So no matter where you're listening to the podcast, you're going to have all the links and everything that you need to know. She does have a website that will be going live soon. I will. One of the things, mistresscarrie.com is not that far away. I can't give you an exact date on when it's going to post because I'm waiting on some things that I have no control over to do it. Part of it is the financial system that's in place to be able to process credit cards for the store. But one of the features that the website is going to have is an event calendar. And so when things like this start getting scheduled, when concerts start getting scheduled, there's going to be a centralized calendar on the website to be able to keep track of charity events and my public appearances and concerts and all of this kind of stuff so that we're all on the same page. Josh Dolan's there. He says, Breaking the Ice podcast will volunteer with us. Josh, I love that. Thank you. Say what's up to Josh, everybody. And if you haven't listened to him and Isaiah and Mike Shue on the Breaking the Ice podcast, absolutely fucking hilarious. Although sometimes Josh says things that make you question if he grew up inside a sealed walnut shell or not. It's very strange. I love you, Josh, but you're a weird fucking guy, and you know that. But I love the idea that we could galvanize ourselves and show up like a food box packing army. I think it would be so overwhelming for Dawn. And if we do it, we all got to wear our shirts so that there's just this war room army taking over mass military support and food for vets. I think it would just be amazing. So I'm super excited for you guys to listen to this week's podcast. The biggest part of the motivation was I wanted you guys to know where your money went. I wanted you guys to feel good about the purchase of your War Room t-shirt and to know that you trusted me with collecting all that money and donating it on your behalf. I wanted you to know that obviously I did that. We presented the check and took all the pictures and I toured the facility. But I also wanted you to hear how grateful Don and the organization were that you guys in the middle of a pandemic when they were really struggling for donations and the need was greater than ever, that you guys kind of swooped in like superheroes and not only were super helpful, but inspirational and selfless. And oh, yay, Annie Ann's, that would be awesome too. I love that you guys want to do that and that you guys are so excited about it. Purple hair and wigs. Oh my God, that would be unbelievable. Oh, that would be so good. So anyway, you guys rock. I'm going to be in touch with them in the next couple of days. So what I will do is I will reach out and find out if there is a day better than any, find out what the max is for the number of volunteers. And, maybe this can be what we talk about next week here in the War Room when we are trying to get our minds off of all of the political craziness that's going to be swirling around us. So I love the idea. I love that you guys love the idea and that you're super motivated about it. What's up, William? He says, big love from Texas. And yeah, I think this is going to be great. I love this idea. Super excited. Okay. I want to remind you guys about the sit rep that you can get every Monday through Friday. I know that the weekly podcast episodes, the full episodes can be long. And they're like that on purpose because I really feel like the podcast, even if you guys listen 20 minutes at a time or whatever, that I give you enough time to really get to know the person that I'm talking to. But I also understand that sometimes you spend 5 minutes a day in the car, whether you're like running to Dunks or dropping the kids off at school or just running a quick errand or, going to the bank or something. And so the sit rep you can get every Monday through Friday. It uploads in the middle of the night. So no matter how early you get up to go to work in the morning, it's there waiting for you. And I try to keep you guys informed on everything that's going on in music, but do it in under 5 minutes so that you guys are hip to the new music coming out and the concerts getting announced and the live stream stuff that's going on. All of that, but that I'm breaking it down for you so that you're just getting all the headlines. And then in the description of every episode of the Sit Rep are all the links to the full news stories. So if I talk about a story that you're super interested in, you go in the description and click the link and the whole story comes up. And then you can read more about it. If I'm talking about something that a band is selling, I always link it. If I'm talking about a video, I always link to the video, just to make it really, really easy for you guys to stay informed. That's what you always used to come to my radio show for. And so I wanted to have the ability to do that. And because the news and music, there's always new stuff getting announced, I wanted to do it every day. So if you haven't checked out an episode of the Sit Rep yet, you can do it anytime. And it's only 5 minutes long. So check it out. I want to let you guys know that the podcast has expanded and is now available on Player FM, which is another outlet for the podcast. So the link up at the top of the screen is the link to the actual website of the podcast until the Mistress Carrie website, mistresscarrie.com, launches. That's where you can just go if you want to listen to the podcast just on a computer, or through, a browser on your phone. Now, if you have a podcast app that you use, whether it be Apple, Google, Spotify, radio.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Overcast, TuneIn, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Amazon, and then our friends, this thumb over here, our friends in India, the listenership in India is growing. So right now, if there's people watching the War Room in India, thank you guys for hanging out with us. I want to hear from you, but I believe you pronounce them Geo Savan and Ghana. Correct me if I am wrong, please. But they are the two biggest audio apps in India, and they picked up my podcast. And now this week, Player FM picked up the podcast as well. Yeah, Jeff, I think you're really going to like the Sit Rep. There's a lot of stuff going on in music that we can't get to every week in the War Room. And so every day there's stuff to talk about. And I put it all in there in a concise thing that, you could listen to it in the shower. It's 5 minutes long. Let's see. Player FM, yet another media site I've never heard of. Sigh. It's tough getting old, says Michael. Yeah, but I'm just putting them out there because I want the podcast to be accessible no matter where you listen to podcasts. Let's see. Hello, India, says Michael. How many countries are we at? We are still at 92. What is going on? Oh my God. My friend is trying to FaceTime with me. Doesn't he know I'm in the War Room? Come on, Sean. We're at 92 countries still. So we got 3 new ones last week. So we're at 92 countries and holding strong right now. But you guys are getting it done, man. And you can see on this map, the darker the shade of blue, the more concentrated the audience. So the countries that are lighter shades of blue, not as many people listen. But look at India. India is getting darker all the time because more people in India are listening to the podcast. Look at Australia. Look at England. Obviously the United States is a darker shade of blue than almost anywhere, but look at Brazil. It's unbelievable. You guys are amazing helping to spread the word. So I love it. Not now, Sean, says Donna. He's going to be like, oh, fuck, I'm so sorry. I interrupted the War Room. It's okay. All right, so speaking of some of those music headlines, let's talk about some stuff that I thought you guys would be most excited about. There is new Rob Zombie coming on Friday. He released a teaser on his Instagram and social media accounts that says, Friday, the Triumph of King Freak, a crypt of preservation and superstition is coming out. Now, that's what he called it on social media. I don't know if the name of the song is The Triumph of King Freak. I don't know exactly what he's going to call it, but we're getting new Rob Zombie music on Friday, which I'm super excited about. Pussifer is performing live on Friday from the Acrosanti, which is this crazy architectural marvel in Arizona. And they are selling tickets for this live stream concert. So if you want to watch Pussifer, you can do that on Friday, and you can go to their official website to get more details on the show. I Prevail finished up touring on their Trauma album touring cycle, and they have been recording every performance, and they have taken live performances from all of the touring locations, and they created a live album called Post Traumatic. Every track from Trauma is represented from a different city around the world. And then there's some bonus tracks on it as well. And what's really cool is that track 10 on Post Traumatic, the live album from I Prevail, is a song called Low, and it was what they recorded in Boston at the House of Blues. So Boston in the house on the new I Prevail album, and you'll be able to check that out starting Friday is when it gets released. Just a reminder, the Metallica All Within My Hands, their first ever live stream. They're doing it as their charity event this year, and that is happening on November 14th, so you still can look forward to that. This I thought was really interesting. So Stuart Copeland from The Police, he has taken the time during the coronavirus shutdown, and he has put a podcast together called My Dad the Spy. I had no idea that this was true. Stuart Copeland's from The Police, his dad was a career CIA agent. And Stuart Copeland, who has lived all around the world when he was younger because of his dad, is now investigating his dad's CIA career in this new podcast, which is everything I love about podcasts, that it's got music stuff in it and it's got like spy stuff in it. So I wanted you guys to know, about this podcast because I thought it was really interesting. So that's Stuart Copeland from The Police, and it's called My Dad the Spy. It was announced that November 7th, which is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the class of 2020, which is going to induct Nine Inch Nails, Depeche Mode, the Doobie Brothers, T-Rex, the Notorious B.I.G., and Whitney Houston into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are also going to pay tribute to Eddie Van Halen, and that is going to be viewable on HBO on November 7th. And I think I'm very curious to see how the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame pays tribute to Eddie Van Halen. Also, by the way, speaking of Eddie Van Halen, the city of Pasadena is looking at building a memorial for Eddie Van Halen because there are some locations in Pasadena that have become makeshift memorials, either the home where he grew up or the sidewalk that was wet concrete, and Eddie and Alex actually carved their names in the concrete on the sidewalk, and it's still there. And so Pasadena is looking for a way to commemorate Eddie Van Halen's passing as well. So there's a lot going on with Eddie Van Halen, not only with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There really haven't been any announcements about his funeral services other than he's being cremated. And Wolfgang has actually come out and said that a lot of the rumors about Van Halen moving on without Eddie Van Halen are really hurtful for the family. And that's not happening. But they have not kind of announced any kind of public memorial service or any kind of tribute show or anything like that. I think coronavirus is kind of making that all difficult. And obviously, they're in the middle of the grieving process as well. Michelle says Tim Burton is talking about doing a new version of the Addams Family TV show, and he wants Johnny Depp to play Gomez. Who wouldn't want Johnny Depp to play Gomez? Are you kidding me? That would be unbelievable. So there you go. All right, we got to get to the mail call because I got some really cool stuff I want to show you guys, and I didn't want to keep you up super late tonight. So I love that you guys sent me Halloween themed stuff this week. This is one of the things I got, by the way, but I got to turn the eyeballs back on. There we go. They turn off after a certain amount of time. So there. So the first thing I got, you guys know I love a card with dogs on it. Nice wiener. This says, Happy Halloweener, or Pug, they wrote in. And it says, have a good one. I couldn't resist this. And it's from Carol, who spoils me and Wednesday Rotten with her delicious cookies and her awesome blanket that Wednesday snuggles on all the time. But she sent me the card, and then she sent me something amazing for my kitchen. I can't tell you how much I love these, Carol. They are so friggin' cool. She sent me measuring spoons. I'll show them this way so they're not upside down. And they're skull measuring spoons. Are you kidding me, Carol? These are unbelievable. So, and they're glass. You hear that? They're so friggin' cool. I love them. Oh, they're so awesome. Thank you. You guys know me so well. So thank you very much, Carol. She sent me that. Then I got this. that says, "Hello, Carrie. I just wanted to send some Halloween stuff your way, knowing it's one of your favorite holidays. I didn't want to write on the card itself. Maybe one of those skulls would look good on your desk in MCHQ. P.S. I didn't want to forget about Wednesday. Happy Halloween. You're a fan from day one of Cocktails in the War Room, Billy." So, Billy, first of all, thank you. He said he didn't want to write on the card because check this out. So this is the card, okay? So that's the inside of the card, and you can fold it or whatever, but check out what this card does. How cool is that? Sorry, everything's backwards for me. Isn't that unbelievable? It's so friggin' cool. Thank you for not writing on it because I want to put it on the shelf. It's going to become part of my Halloween decorations. I love it. So Billy, I'll show you the first thing. Billy sent me the lantern with the skull eyes that light up, which I love. Billy sent this, which is a pig for Wednesday, okay? It even has a pug on the tag. It's called a squeakable. You guys know what squeakers sound like, right? Listen to this fucking thing. I literally have not been able to stop doing this all day. Wednesday's looking at me from the other room. She's kind of freaked out about the pig because it makes weird noises. It makes me laugh. It sounds like a fart. It's a pig that makes pig noises. I'm a child, obviously. Oh, here she comes. Hold on. Let me turn the... Wednesday. See, I told you. It freaks her out. Do you want me to just leave it here? What is it? No, it's okay. Don't be scared of the piggy. It's okay. I told you guys. I hear that all day long, says Amanda. Oh my God. Sounds like a Harley, says Eric. Toy for the dog or for MC. Am I not supposed to play with this thing? Wednesday just took off. I'm going to put the pig over here. I can't even deal. Oh my God. It's so awesome. Okay. So there's two more things that Billy sent me in the package. This is one of them. So this is a little wooden box that has a little thing on it, and you pull it. So you give it to somebody, and then the only way to open it is to pull this thing forward. And when they do, this happens. Ah! I scared the shit out of my mother with this, just so you know, Billy. Thank you. It's just, I love it. It's so unbelievable. It's so simple, yet so effective. This last thing, I am hoping that I am going to be able to pick it up and show it to you guys because it's fucking so awesome and so cool. Now, you have to plug it in. So it's plugged into a power strip underneath my computer right now. This, oh shit. Oh, damn it, I knew that was going to happen. Okay, this is an electron magnet, okay? And there is a magnet underneath the skull head. And you have to master the art and find the sweet spot and get the skull to float. And it hovers. And it's witchcraft. Now I have to, hold on. I got really good at it earlier. It's hard to do one-handed. And you can hear every time it slams down. So this is what it looks like. It's just this magnet that you plug in, and then you get the skull. And it has lights in it too, but I can't figure out how to turn everything on and off all the time yet. I'm still playing with it. But hold on. I'm going to try and... God damn it. Ah! It comes with these instructions that's like, cradle the head. My mom has that spider thing, says Christina. I would have died if someone did that to me. Sent the mouse to one of my sister-in-law. She said, find the sweet spot. Krista, you're a pervert. Making them hover is friggin' impossible. It's not. I had it. You guys saw it. Ooh, the lights came on. See? So the lights came on, and then when it hovers, the skull lights up red. But you have to... God damn it. Cocktails in the War Room might go till like 1 o'clock in the morning because I don't want to let you guys go until I fucking figure this out. I almost had it. You're supposed to like cradle the head in your hands and then slowly release it so that it hovers. It's a feel thing. You have to find the little window. It's all innuendos about the head. I know, because you guys are freaking perverts. You also have to have it. Hold on, I gotta move. I need a drink first. Billy, this is all your fault, by the way. And you're also not supposed to do it on a table with any metal on it, obviously, because it screws with the magnet in the head. I just had it. It's been floating and spinning on the table the whole show. Fuck it. You guys saw it floating for a second. I'm going to get it all hooked up. I will make a video and I will put it up on Instagram and stuff so that you can see it. It's so freaking cool. Thank you, Billy. All right. We got to wish a bunch of people happy birthday. KK Downing from Judas Priest celebrates his birthday today. Simon LeBon from Duran Duran. It is Scott Weiland's birthday today and also Kelly Osbourne's birthday today. Selfishly, I have a few people I want to wish a happy birthday to. My buddy JB is 50 today. My cousin Kim is celebrating her birthday. And my cousin Gary, a belated happy 50th for him. His 50th was last week. So I want to wish happy birthday to all of you guys. Happy birthday to anybody that's having a birthday today that's out there in the war room. Okay, I got a couple more things I want to talk to you guys about real quick. First of all, I want to say what's up to everybody that has a backstage pass, including new this week, Lindsay and Christina. I want to welcome them. You can get a Mistress Carrie backstage pass on Patreon. Super easy to do, super inexpensive. It gives me another way to, privately, in a smaller group, keep in touch with you guys. I use the people with the backstage pass a lot to answer questions about the things they want the website to do, the products they want me designing for the online store. I've been designing stickers and asking for their input on that as well. Asking the kind of interviews that they want me doing in the podcast. It's a focus group for me. But you get all kinds of exclusive blog posts and pictures. And when the online store launches, you're also going to get discounted merchandise in the online store. Now, I did want to show you a couple of the things that are coming in the online store. One of them, I still can't get the freaking head to hover. Come on, man. Can you just hover for me? Stop making me look like a liar. Oh, I'm going to get it to hover. So one of the things the people that have the backstage passes have already seen, I have to have a mouse pad in here to control the computer. So I made Mistress Carrie mouse pads because everybody's got home offices now and your home offices have to be badass. So one of the things that's coming up in the online store are Mistress Carrie mouse pads. There's a couple different ones. And I bought the ones that are like antibacterial. They're treated somehow so that even if your desk is nasty and disgusting, that you're not going to have a germ-filled mouse pad. So these are coming in the online store. And also super excited about the Mistress Carrie coffee mugs. And these are coming too. So there are only a couple of the things that I have going, but I'm super excited. And I wanted to give the people in the war room a chance. Yes, there's hoodies coming, damn it. But I wanted to show you guys some of the smaller items that are going to be in there as well. I'm putting together like a whole office pack. I got pens made and the mouse pads because so many people are working from home and you want to have an office that's cool. or when you go back to work, finally in the office, that you can bring some cool stuff back to work with you so everybody knows that you're kick-ass. So that is coming. So I've been using the people with the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass as, kind of a focus group. So I got to thank everybody that already has the Backstage Passes. And whoever gets Backstage Pass number 100 is going to get an awesome Mistress Carrie prize pack. So you can go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie and get your Backstage Pass, and you'll be seeing more pictures and stuff right there. Here are all the other places you can find me. MistressCarrie.com, like I said, is coming very soon. I will have an announcement on that. Not too much longer. I'm working on it. I'm learning how to be a webmaster. It's not easy. You can find me on Twitter at Mistress Carrie, on Instagram and Facebook at Mistress Carrie WAF, and on TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and Patreon. And I wanted to put a plug in for the Cameo videos too, because, Cameo videos are something great to send to people for whatever the occasion is. And with Halloween coming up, if you guys want me to make some Halloween Cameo videos for somebody that maybe lives far away or that you're not going to be able to see because of COVID or whatever. Yes, Jonathan, I am making bumper stickers. Sorry. What about bumper stickers? Yes, Ed. Yes, I am making them. Yes, you can use the coffee mug as a pen holder. Absolutely. That's what I do on my desk. Look, I could put Fernandez's sangria in this mofo. Totally happen. But yes, I'm making stickers. There's going to be some cool logo stickers. And then the people that have the Backstage Pass have already seen preliminary versions of a really cool sticker with Wednesday and I on it. I'll give you that little hint. The people with the Backstage Pass have already seen not the finished version, but almost the finished version. So yes, there are bumper stickers coming. One of the other things that I made is I'm having patches made. So if you ride motorcycles or if you got an old school jean jacket and you got band patches all over it, I'm making Mistress Carrie patches too. And I'm super excited about those. So there's some really, really cool stuff coming. So get a Cameo video for Halloween. I can make those for you. I'll even wear an outfit if you want or something, or wigs or funny glasses, or I'll do it with the hovering skull. Because I'll get it to work and I'll put it someplace where I'm not going to move it. And then it just turns red and it floats and it's sorcery. So I will do that. So you can go to Cameo and just search Mistress Carrie and I will make Cameo videos for you. I think that's it, guys. Water bottles. Did you use the flour yet? I have not used the flour yet, Jonathan, but I got it. Dog bowls. Yes, there's all kinds of dog stuff. The original launch of MistressCarrie.com is not going to be where it ends. It's just getting this thing up and running and getting the store to the point where I've got enough stuff in there. And then there are going to be new products coming all the time. Part of the time-consuming thing is sourcing the products, making sure that they're good quality, getting them designed right, and then getting them manufactured and getting them here and figuring out all the shipping. I mean, it's a logistical nightmare and nothing that I ever expected to have to do. So it's a learning process. Just getting pictures taken of the merch items so that when you look on their website, you know what the hell they look like. So there are going to be temporary tattoos, dog things, video of the hovering skull or it never happened. Challenge accepted, Michael. That is totally happening. So yeah, get your Cameo videos done. I will put the floating skull in them if you want. I'd love to make them for Halloween, which is coming up on Saturday. Please do everything you can to make Halloween special for kids. They really need this weekend, and seeing joyful kids running around in costumes in any way that they can do it safely is what we're all going to need this weekend leading up to the craziness that's coming next Tuesday. Okay, guys, that's it. Masks. I am sore. You know how hard it is to find masks to make Mistress Carrie masks, but I'm looking for them. So yes, I'm trying to get them. We appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you, Jonathan. This is for you guys. The fact that you guys want this stuff, I'll put it together. Absolutely, 100%. I love doing it. It's just, I can't wait for it to be up and running and functional so that I can just work on one new thing all of the time. But trying to fill a store with a bunch of new stuff is a little overwhelming, especially when you got to build the website from scratch too. So it's a lot, but we're going to get it done, and it's going to be done before the holidays, I promise. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you so much for all the amazing gifts. Happy Halloween. And you will get your evidence of the floating skull. I promise.